always ask yourself, did you give someone an action when you're putting it out there? I want you to call this number. I want you to knock on these doors. I want you to do this activity. I want you to do this in this way, because then you have the ability to measure your progress. I use a separate example, using another nonprofit, Reverend Sharpton, they now, for National Action Network, at the end of their conferences now have what's called Measuring the Movement. And they've been doing that on the Saturday afternoons itself. And one thing that's been good about it is now you can have a real conversation. What did we actually do to change something? So every single night, sometimes people don't think about this in politics. I have metrics-based reports that my team send me. How many people did we knock on their doors today? How many residents who didn't have heat earlier this morning now have heat tonight? How many kids did we get books to today? If you can't tell me that, we were not successful. And quite frankly, you would not operate in that manner in any way in anything else you do. So why would you operate that way in a movement? If you were in class and someone just said, well, you're doing well, that's not sufficient. How am I doing well? What am I doing? How do I get better? You leave and you go into the business aspect. How do you grow in that manner? So establish and commit to metrics and measurements for success. And that's why I keep going back to what I said at the top. There's a difference between goals and objectives in the movement, right? If I want to figure out the long-term goal, let me give you another example. We'll use a policy example. There's an effort called Campaign for Fiscal Equity in New York, where parents and educators all came together and said, we can demonstrate that the public schools are being underfunded in New York. Sued, won the lawsuit. We are still battling on this lawsuit. $4.1 billion owed to these kids in these respective schools. But the reason why we were able to move forward in this way is that multiple organizations came together and they were not just thinking, I want to be successful this year.